Are you one of those people who suffer from electromagnetic hypersensitivity, fatigue, tiredness, stress, brain fog, aches, and pains? What if I told you that you can soak your way into serenity? Soak in Serenity, our new herbal bath formula, is known to soothe anxiety, relieve stress and fatigue in just one bath. Visit our store at blacksunrise.com/herbs page. Remember to spell sunrise SONRISE.
Okay, and what about the notion that they're going to do it with things like earth changes and with causing, with the chemtrails, and basically they're killing people in essence with the radiation, chemtrails, and disease. There's a lot of thought that they maybe want to spread disease. And then even I've heard that there will be some bombings in prime cities here in the U.S. Have you heard any of that?
Well, I mean, that stuff's obviously going on every month now, the terrorist acts. And it's all orchestrated.
Well, actually, what I meant by that was something a lot bigger than what happened in Boston.
Well, back in Africa, I was friends with some SAS guys who were Rhodesian infantry people before they were involved with the SAS. They talked about bioengineered race weapons in Africa, put in the wells, which would only kill the blacks and wouldn't affect the whites. So there'll be, that sort of things, the chemtrails, bioengineered race weapons.
Okay, well, let me throw something a bit strange out at you. I recently heard that there was that we gave away Africa to a group of an incoming race of beings. Have you heard about that?
I've heard different things to do with Africa and the direction of Africa in the future. I've heard there's social engineering programs where they're trying to encourage African Americans to go back to Africa and give them property and housing back there. And there's one really big one. It was even in the mainstream media. I forget what it was called now. But there's this big movement to get the blacks back to Africa, and I don't know if they're.
I've never heard of that.
I forget the name of this thing now. They were going to give them property and tax rebates and things like that, because there was even the Muslim movement, even the blacks themselves in their own community. There's a big movement to say we don't really belong in America, we should go back to our homeland. And a lot of Africans who I talk to say that themselves. They say, I've never felt welcome here, I'd love to go back to Africa, I'd love to go back to my roots. There's definitely movements to kind of trigger that. So I'm not sure. I've heard they're going to try and get them back there and nuke Africa. I've heard they're going to try and get them back there and then sell them to incoming extraterrestrial races. So it could be connected to what you mentioned.
Okay, so, but in your positions, like it's sort of as super soldiers, for lack of a better terminology, do you, they don't let you in on the big picture, they don't sit around and have discussions with you, I assume, right?
Yeah, they do.
They do?
Yeah.
Okay, so they let you in on some of the plans, that kind of thing?
Yeah.
Okay. And what about you?
That for sure. From the beginning, from when I was a child, they explained how it was going to happen.
They do.
I think that was some input from my consciousness and how it was going to happen too.
Okay. Okay. I could be asking you questions all night, but just to wrap this up, and I want to thank both of you for taking the time. When you look at America, you have been told there is going to be a scenario where there's a financial meltdown, and then, you know, sort of riots in the streets, and then an implication of what do they call that, martial law, and, you know, a scenario. Have you seen it, been told about a scenario that works in that direction?
I've just been told the current scenario is this whole race war thing. That's the current thing.
Really?
Well, I don't know whether they'll change it to something else, but that's the plan at the moment.
From what I know, that what Michael's saying is right, but that would also lead to when the race war happens, it will lead to some form of martial law, and that's what they're essentially wanting to do.
Black Sunrise, waking the masses off their asses.